Hi guys, it's Rob Morengi here. Hope you're doing well. Uh, these are the scissors with which I used to cut myself. A creature of habit, I guess. I haven't done it in a while. Um, I think there were two reasons why I first started doing it. One was being in a relationship with someone very, very unstable when I was young, from like the ages of 12 to 17 or 16. It was 4 or 5 years in the formative years, which is a good rhyme. I should use that. And I just felt such emotional turmoil sometimes from that, or often from that, and afterwards, the breakdown. um, that it felt like cutting was the only way because it releases endorphins and distracts you from the strong emotional pain. If you're particularly disposed to strong negative emotion. Um, and being very into the Manic Street Preachers, in particular Richie Edwards, who, as some of you will know, was the leading lyrical and aesthetic force in the Manic Street Preachers for the time span that produced their first three albums: Generation Terrorists, Gold Against the Soul, The Holy Bible. And he famously mutilated himself on a regular basis. There is a rather chilling photograph, which I wouldn't suggest you Google it, but of him, he was having an interview with Steve Lamacq, and Steve Lamacq was basically saying, "Oh, you're just ripping off the Clash. There's nothing new about you. You're not for real." And all the while, Steve Lamacq later recounted, Rich Edwards had been carving with a completely composed straight face, very deeply with a razor blade, for real, and then real, into his arm. And he needed to the bone on the four, and needed lots of stitches, obviously. And Gold Against Soul album artwork has pictures of him with cut across the chest, blood everywhere, and used to put cigarettes out on his arms and stuff. Got to a really extreme point with him, and he was, bless him, extremely talented person, very brilliant person, but deeply, deeply troubled on many fronts. Anorexia and alcoholism and extreme self-mutilation. So I think those two things caused me to do it. There was a strange kind of vanity to it, like being 15, 16, and you just want to, or I wanted to appear edgy and out there and cool, and like I didn't give a fuck and all that, trying to prove myself. There was a bit of that. People, see it and think, oh, he's hardcore at the least. And I, liked a kind of music, dark edgy music. I was the guy who wouldn't really wear the school uniform, was putting up posters everywhere of bands from Enemy, back when it was tolerable. And to be fair, I haven't read Enemy recently, so I don't know. And then I would draw draw penises all over these posters, thinking naively that no one would know it was me. Tells you I'll get back onto self-mutilation in a minute, don't worry. But a little aside, I changed with Tipp-Ex and marker pens. I was quite creative with, and I changed. So I went to private school in Hull called Hymas College. I think it's like the cheapest private school in the country. Before you start thinking I'm from Eton or something. Eton, by the way, because England. No, I'm losing my thread. um, cheap, cheapest private school in the country. Yes, I changed the main hall sign to Man Hall, which I quite liked. Especially seeing it was that kind of middle class English, let's all play rugby and crush saplings mercilessly with our bare feet as we shoot up the Jacob's ladder of corporate success. And I changed Memorial Hall to Men Oral Hall, which it isn't my greatest work, but I was quite proud of it. And very stupid, silly ones like E5 to F5, like that, sticking it to the system. So back to these. I don't think you should self-mutilate. So I did it when I was 15, 16, maybe 17 for a bit. I remember my family seeing scars sometimes. I tried to do it in discreet places sometimes. Sometimes I was just so reckless and panicky and teenagey that I was just like, But other times it was strategic. By the way, I pointed to my upper thighs there, nothing more central. That's too much. I have to go to Torture Garden or somewhere dressed in some some travesty of fashion, latex, disgusting rubber, dead anesthetic, fucking bleach smell, horrible stuff. Ugh, like that shop in Camden for the people who dress up like the futuristic, sluttiest, S&M robots of the future. Yes. So my family would see it, and obviously were not comfortable with it. I remember my dad saying self-mutilation is not cool, and I remember thinking and being absolutely certain this is why we shouldn't be so certain of your thoughts and get into a place where you don't mind but not that certain, because your thoughts are just hitting you. You're not in control of what comes up next, and they're based on your conditioning and the culture you're living in and your state of mind at the minute, and they are what foster the emotions that cause it so much grief if you look out for it. Yeah, just uncomfortable silences at dinners and stuff like that when they were seen. I regret that part of it. I don't know if I regret, to be totally honest, I don't know if I regret doing it. There's something about having some scars, because it's not been the easiest ride psychologically for me, especially the last 3 years, or for lots of people, and obviously, no, I wish I hadn't said that. There's people going through far worse. A lot of the planet is in a state of, I don't want to sound too much like Jordan Peterson, in a state of chaos, and war and fleeing. Although thousands of people are being lifted out of absolute poverty every day. Abject poverty, millennial poverty. Whereas Christopher Hitchens pointed out, millennial poverty, there's no getting out of it. But I regret my family having to be uncomfortable and the worry it would have caused. Although, like I say to my mum, you'd say you worry about me if I was in a padded room in a good way, a safe space. Safe spaces. We'll talk about those one day. yeah, I don't know. I kind of like seeing the scars. No girl has commented on them. I don't know if she thought they were stretch marks. I did used to be a bit chubbier in the face and the body a bit, but especially in the face. So I looked in photos because my face was like a fucking balloon. I looked fatter than I actually was. Maybe that's why I did. No, probably not. I knew some. I knew someone who carved tool into their arm, and there are multiple definitions of tool. But I'm not really one to talk, am I? At least he wrote words in his song. He used to have this huge hunting knife. It was like handles like that, and the blade was like equally big. It's like chop down fucking, the more humble trees with this thing. And I remember just being off my head once at his house and people seemed impressed, disgusted, shocked. I got known after that by one girl for a while as the boy who cuts himself, which I didn't like. Anyway, and then I went about 15 years without doing it. And then a few months ago, just before I checked myself into A&E, when I was convinced I was going to commit suicide, there's more about that on my depersonalization, derealization video. I was, hacking away on my legs with these. Again, through acute emotional pain. Not the right thing to do. I strongly discourage people to do it because you're stuck with the scars. And you might not have the same sanguine, blasé attitude as me about them. I'm just stuck with them. And neither will people around you who see them. And can you imagine a friend comes to you and says they're in distress of any kind, and your suggestion for how they relieve that distress is to cut their flesh open? Would you be a good friend? Would you be a wise friend? Would you be a total moron? No. There are better ways to alleviate suffering. Engage in something you find gripping and meaningful, or exercise, or see your family, for a bit, or see a friend, or write, or start a YouTube channel and start ranting about various topics that you care about, and make it look good. Have some interesting background. Well, that was a happy coincidence. All that it took me a long time to put it all up because they're all individual pictures, very small ones, apart from the ones on the wardrobe. Just a happy coincidence that I turned on the camera and it faced on it. But yeah, I know my videos do look quite good. So if you're gonna do it, don't be like miserable in a terribly lit room, dressed all scruffy. I don't mean to sound snobbish there, but I'm just talking that I dress scruffy as well sometimes. But the reality is, video is, as someone in the music industry said to me recently, video is more important than the song, or the message maybe, or what reels people in is the visual. Like, people talk about love at first sight. It's 100% physical at first sight. You see a physical body in space, and you'd think, will I get bored having sex with that person or not? And if the answer is no, then you should keep them, because lack of sex slowly kills relationships and creates deep misery and bitterness and stagnation, and leads to monogamy. I've got mixed feelings about. I was anti, and now I'm not so anti it. We can talk about that one day, maybe. Yes, I've had a thread loss, which, if you watch my videos, it can happen. Anyway, 15 minutes. I think I'll close it there. Shared with you what was going on with self-mutilation in my life, why I do not recommend it, why I'm well aware that me saying I don't recommend it isn't going to make everyone go, oh my god, I'm never going to cut myself again. But I hope to sow a seed, plant a seed, and you can dwell on it and think about it for yourself if that's the sort of thing you're doing. Go for a fucking jog for 5 minutes. Okay? Shower, hot water, cold water, then for 20 seconds, then back to hot water. That releases endorphins. That gets the heart pumping, that gets the blood pumping, that oxidizes you, that builds your muscles, that builds your ligaments, that helps your respiratory system. Laying around cutting yourself is the action of a pathetic, defeated creature. And I say that as someone who has done it. And in those moments, well, when I was very young, it was vanity and emotional pain, and then later on it was just emotional pain. But yeah, like I said, the solution isn't that. So I'm signing out. This has been Rob Marengi talking to you about the false promise of self-mutilation. I have other videos. You can subscribe to my channel. There should have been at some point a little red button about there, but it's incredibly small. I'm thinking of changing it, but I don't know how to get onto the thing that helps you change it. Yes, I make music under my name and my band Cats on the Beach, available for free everywhere. I'm not trying to sell you anything, not a barker for anything. It's all free. Listen to it if you like. People have said it's good. Solo stuff, people have said sort of early, obviously I'm talking about a general mood. I'm not comparing myself to these people, but people have said early Bob Dylan, Nick Drake, Leonard Cohen, Elliott Smith sort of thing. Bright Eyes, someone said. The band more, again, not claiming parity or equality with these people, but people have said, like The Cure, Radiohead, Libertines, that kind of thing. So if you like that, check out the music, Cats on the Beach, or all my solo stuff. There's a little link down there. Do not self-mutilate, do not do a Richie, and definitely do not do a Richie because he disappeared the day before an American tour without telling anyone, and disappeared, I mean ran off somewhere, and it's still a mystery apparently as to where he is. So I will sign off like he did, but unlike him, I will be back with with no scars on my skin, no matter how bad things seem. All right, take it easy.